serving solution that allows them to serve those video spokespersons onto the page, track how many times it's served, how many people click it off, how long it's on the page, if there are click-throughs to the
really
video spokesperson.
You're getting measurement.
You're getting measurement, and then they also take those spokespeople and they put them into ads. So can you imagine how powerful that great new triple-wide skyscraper on the New York Times would be if a person walked out into that space and started talking to you and things appeared around them, almost like a virtual space?
As long as there's an off button somewhere nearby.
I would shut that down.
Well, it's not. It doesn't have to auto start.
Right.
It doesn't have to auto start. They can walk out and stand there, and you can never.
They can look like they're
they
like
can
going,
stand there and wink at you.
Yeah.
Exactly. They'll wink at you. They'll look at my big thumbs.
Yeah, exactly.
This episode of This Week in Media brought to you by Big Thumbs. So I am not a fan of video spokespersons. I just want to say that, but hey, that's okay. We are going to agree to disagree on this. But I also tend towards sort of the low clutter web experience. Now, during the day, I almost always have the volume off.
You were like Google.
On my computer. I love Google. I love simplicity. You know, I just want. I don't want to hear music when I get to a site. I don't like anything that's going to auto start. I'm just a total control freak. But yeah, I kind of like that low maintenance experience. But that's probably the same reason I read real books instead of opting for sort of a multimedia book experience where I can see somebody who wants that kind of full multimedia, rich media experience could like that. It's it's not something that works for me, but
I think it's really good for products that are kind of confusing. If you need an explanation of something, it's a really helpful thing. Or if you need directions about how to use a page, it could be really helpful. So I think if the character's in service.
Right. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, adding lots and lots of videos, especially if you're a new user on our site, you're a new member of the Pixel Corps. One of the things we've been working on for the new web page that we're building a whole new infrastructure right now. And we're looking at having videos of me coming out going, so if you're getting started, click this button, and if you want to build your profile, click that button, and doing like little interactive things just to make it a little bit more
navigation.
Just fun little navigation, or this is how you do this kind of things. And we're looking at going a little further than what they're doing, which is instead of just walking out, interacting with the web page and circling things and moving stuff around, and possibly doing that within applications and a lot of things like that. So I do think that makes sense. It's just a matter of figuring out what they're doing that's unique to them, because, as I said, this stuff has been going on for years. I think it was really big in the last boom, and then it becomes big again in this boom, because this boom is really the video boom, not the last one was the internet boom, right?
Another listener question from Ken Mandel. He asks, content for an international market, subtitling versus dubbing. How do you make that decision?
Well, I mean, I think the big thing is there's the easy way to do this and the hard way to do it. I mean, dubbing well is very difficult. I mean, there are actors that I had a friend who worked at Technicolor, and there are actors who all they do is dub Tom Cruise in Chinese. Or whatever. I mean, or dub someone in French. Like, that's their business. It's not their only business. They might do other things, but a lot of their business is just dubbing popular actors because they happen to sound like those actors, and they figured out how to do the same inflections, and they figured out to do it well, not to do it a bad one, but to do a good job of dubbing requires a lot of talent, and transcriptions or feeding that into captions is something we're doing a lot of research right now on, is transcriptions and captioning. That is a much less expensive thing to do, so that's really when you're going into it, and you get the original piece. Now the problem is that if it's very visual, if what you're looking at is very visual, it's a real pain in the neck to have to always look down. It's hard for me to watch a movie that's subtitled because I'm reading all the subtitles and then trying to keep up with the movie at the same time. I think it's easier when you're talking about if you're going to be doing training, for instance, like screencasts, then you just want to dub it because no one's seeing you talk, right?
I am such an SEO geek that I always lean toward closed captioning and transcripts over dubbing if it's going to be used on the web. Because then it's findable. Results, right? Of course, then it's findable. Then Google can crawl it.
And a lot of those technologies are moving very quickly. One of the things that Google and Yahoo are doing is working with Adobe to make sure that Flash is searchable. So if there's if you have the text in the metadata, you'll be able to find where we were talking about this in the near future. And there are some there's some technologies out there that are starting to let you search through the video just by, when you find the phrases that were there, you can find that part of the video, so you don't even have to listen to the whole hour. You can listen to the 10 minutes you're interested in. So those are all things that are right around the corner. And I think you're right. I think that the transcriptions, especially as it relates to metadata, and then also translation. You transcribe it once in English, and then you hope that the translation goes correct, and you don't
offend somebody.
Don't offend somebody. Yeah,
language.
Exactly.
Final listener question. This is Leslie Lawrence. I hope I got your name right, Leslie. But thank you for submitting this. He asks, she, how about the vagaries of over-the-air reception of digital TV? Important kind of weigh in on how the country's starting to transition to digital. And Leslie says the signal is on, then goes dark for a second, and then back and forth. Sometimes it's just the audio that cuts in and out. It's maddening to get a great signal and then nothing. It varies from day to day. Alex, is this?
I'm just going to take this one.
Okay, go.
I'm totally kidding.
Okay.
Susan's been studying multipath transition.
I can't wait to hear the answer to this one.
I didn't even look at
I hear
Susan
that Alex
for
is going
this
to say, I didn't even look at me. I just thought I'd play with you. I hear you just put your hand on the box and you hold your other arm up and then it all works.
Right, well, if you just hold the antenna, it should
That's
work
my
fine.
answer,
It's like that
Leslie.
Simpsons episode.
I think that the issue is that I was wrong. I just want to say.
What?
It's hard to imagine. Big thumbs.
I know. My big thumbs.
Just call him Thummy.
Thummy. Just call me Thumb. I was wrong. I said that this stage transition was going to be a disaster, and it actually is the best thing that could have happened to them.
Because it's more education?
Well, because without turning everybody's TV off, they're getting to see where the holes are. So they have 4 months to react. By having a third of the stations switch over, this actually turned out to be a much better transition because they got to see the preview of the problem. And the problem is that analog allows you to there's many shades of data coming to you. So it can be real snowy, but you're still getting your UHF, channel 53 or whatever. When you move to, and this is what we're talking about, people that are picking up broadcast over the air. When you're talking about digital, it is either working or it's not working. It is either there's enough signal to take it or there isn't. Now, that means turn on and off based on your reception. So that's why you might get an image and then not an image and then an image. There's no staticky image that comes out of a digital transmission. It has to be either fully there or fully not there. There's just not enough data for it to figure it out. And so the issue that you get into is that a lot of people are having this issue where it was staticky, they had gotten used to it, and now that staticky version isn't there at all. And people are gonna have to figure out what to do about that. There's no easy fix. There's no easy way to make this work. It's really going to be problematic. And there are going to be people who are just going to lose stations. That's the.
But they can just go buy new stuff to fix the problem, right?
Bigger
antennas.
Box,
here's what's going to happen.
Is
for the people.
Sometimes you don't know. You might need a different part of it.
Right. Well, but the big thing is going to be as someone who built antennas when I was a kid, because I wanted to get all the stations really clearly. This is still back in the analog world, so I ran
I made mud pies when I was a kid.
Oh, this is so embarrassing. So I don't know why I got myself into this, but I ran electric. So we used to. I grew up on a farm. And there's electric fence. So one thing you had a lot of rolling around is electric fence. It's a real thick wire. And it turns out that it's not bad as an antenna. And so I ran that all around the roof. I made these big squares along the roof of our house, and then ran it all the way back to the window right outside the stereo, and then connected that to the stereo. And I got better reception.
I think that's really brilliant. Were your parents proud of you, or did they yell at you for using up all the electric fence wire?
No, they mostly the reaction was. He's made a big mess of the roof, but for the most part they didn't notice. It took him
because you were one of 7 children.
Yeah, exactly.
You could get away with a lot of stuff.
There were 6 of us there. There was not going to be a lot of moving around. So anyway, it would be.
Did you have cows?
We did. My grandfather had cows, so there were lots of cows, and we raised horses.
That's why you had electric fence for the horses.
Yes,
nice.
Yes. So we raised quarter horses, race horses. And so I rode a lot. And but yes, we had lots of electric fences.
Sounds like an idyllic childhood. Probably a big old barn full of
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, you know,
and a bunch
you know,
of horses
wait.
to ride.
Right, when you, okay, so I'd like to, let me explain the
Take us
idyllic.
back, Alex.
Of cleaning up horse.
There's mostly a lot of shoveling, a lot of, you know what, because I was the only one that was big enough to do it, so I pretty much did all of that.
See, now I always
good
have,
for ya.
We're in Petaluma today for those of us who are
Which I love.
who are listening.
I love
and I
Petaluma.
love Petaluma too. It's a beautiful place. Now my son used to do some horseback riding up here, and it's just, oh God, I loved taking him to the place where he did the horseback riding, because it was just, you know, rolling green hills. No,
We're going
cell
to tie
phone
this back into
reception.
media, aren't we?
No, we're going to tie it back into poop.
Rad hole. All right, go ahead.
That's what we've been talking
We're just
about.
going to declare rad hole here. Just keep on going.
And it was just gorgeous. I mean, it was that kind of idyllic setting. It was just this beautiful stables, and you know, especially when the bright blue skies. I mean, it was wonderful. So I'd always say to my husband, God, I had just this fantasy of getting, you know, some kind of, I don't know, you know, some kind of land like that and having horses. And he would always remind me, then someone has to clean up.
Yeah.
After the horses, and do you want to be doing that? Of course, that's when I say, I'll get my hot stable boy to do that. He didn't like that idea. That's why